I am Maurico Bullford, and this is Uncut News. This morning, Volda Lawrence appeared before the Georgetown Magistrates Court to answer to private criminal fraud charges that were filed since March, actually by Charles Ramson Jr. Anyway, the charges were filed against Lawrence and Spreadsheet Mingo in relation to, well, Mingo's magic numbers for Region 4 during the past election. They are accused of forging official electoral documents in an effort to defraud the country. Lawrence was placed on $100,000 bail and is expected to return to court on September the 11th, while Mingo was not even in court because he was never served the papers. And of course, we can't forget Lowenfield's court appearance this morning. He too faced the Georgetown Magistrates Court, where a decision regarding the continuation of his private criminal fraud charges was slated to be announced. Lowenfield's lawyer had requested that the charges be reviewed by the Director of Public Prosecution. However, he was told to return on September 11th for a decision. In the meantime, the charges against Lowenfield remain. So let's see how that turns out, because we already know what side the DPP is on all of this. But moving on. Over the weekend, President Irchak gave us a lesson on how to silently neutralize your opposition. On Saturday, the Office of the President announced that leader of the LJP, Lennox Schumann, was appointed as an advisor to the Minister of Public Works on civil aviation, while former PPP member and leader of ANOG, Dr. Ralph Ramkaran, was appointed as an advisor to the Minister of Foreign Affairs on border issues, and Jerry Teflon Gavaya was appointed as an advisor on national security. I will let you make your own conclusions on the Jerry one, but the other two screams of conflict of interest if you ask me. Plus, what have happened to the promise not to take up a government's position? I guess that only applied if APNU won again. So come to think of it, Jerry and Ramkaran actually don't surprise me. They're just returning home to their party of choice. But shame on you, Schumann. Way to sell out, just like every other third party that came before you. I'm looking at you, AFC.
"911, what's your emergency?"
Hello? Please help! Somebody just stole my car!
Calm down, sir. It says here you're calling from Agricola. Are you injured?
No, I'm okay. I parked my car to run in the shop and get some top-up, and this might just jump in my car and drive away.
Don't worry, sir. Just activate the tracker in your car and give me the location. I will send the police unit.
Which tracker?
Wait, you don't have a GPS tracker in your vehicle?
No?
Chik, chik.
Hello?
Sir, you're breaking up.
Hello?
Chik, chik. Some people are real amateur. Just 16,000 for a GPS tracker at Triple B's, and still he ain't got one. Call 682-8326 and get your tracker installed today.
Perfect. And we're back. From news about the criminals in government, we now move to the criminals in the streets. On Thursday last, a set of low-life bandits broke into the Bishop Magic Don Juan Edgels Church on Durban Street and another church in Nabokulis on the East Coast. The thieves stole a generator and over $1 million worth of electronics from the Mount Olivet Wesleyan Church in Nabokulis, while Edgel didn't even tell the media what they stole from his church because, you know, he does like to be shady like that. Anyway, I am always shocked by people who rob houses of worship, as I think it's pretty safe to say that robbing a holy place of basically any religion gives you a free ticket to hellfire. I told you all on Friday I'd bring an update to the Chris Jones incident, and as you know, Noriko don't tell lies. Over the weekend, Nondalaw defended the police's actions, calling it, quote, nothing special, and said that if Jones has a problem, he can sue. He defended the move to forcibly remove the items from Jones's house, despite a court order still being in effect. However, Nondalaw said that Jones was being confrontational and should have went to the police headquarters to state his case. Now, don't go skin your teeth and laugh and say good for Hay. Yes, I agree, his obtaining the grant was unfair given the fact that there are many other people who could actually use it, but a court order is still a court order, and the law must be respected. Remember, this man used to be the director of sport and is currently an MP. If the police are allowed to burst into his house and do as they please, what chance do you, the average person, have? don't forget, even Nandalal was allegedly, in possession of stolen, quote-unquote, stolen law books. But did the police raid his house come looking for them? No! They brought him in before the courts, like what should happen because we are a lawful society. On Saturday night, a 36-year-old woman who owns and operates a Washbay in Wisma, Linden, with her husband, was robbed at gunpoint. The incident occurred sometime around 8 p.m. at the Stonewall Washbay, located at Prossville's squatting area, Wisma. The armed bandit robbed the woman of her cell phone valued at $210,000 and $65,000 cash. Wait, $210,000 for a cell phone? What was that thing made of? Gold? Everyone's favorite failure of a company. Guyana is getting yet another bailout. I wish I got that many bailouts from my parents. Anyway, on Sunday, the Ministry of Agriculture announced that it will be giving the poorly run state entity $600 million to pay various wages and salaries, as Guyana can't even make the payroll for this month. This came after a recent study revealed that salary costs exceeded $120 million a week. The management blames the revenue shortfall on the pandemic, but we already know that ship was sinking years before Miss Rona ever touched down in Guyana. BM Soot is Guyana's #1 auto dealer. Visit their showroom at Lot 9 Crow Street, Georgetown. Don't be shy. That $800,000 you have saved up can get you behind the steering wheel now. Call them on telephone number 231-8451. BM Soot Auto Sales. It's your turn to draw. Now, let's take a look at news from around the world. Here's a story I wish was about Guyana. On Monday, the government of the Eastern European country of North Macedonia announced that its prime minister and the cabinet members will receive just one salary for the duration of their term. North Macedonia has a similar government system to ours, in that the cabinet members are also members of parliament. But this is where the similarities stop, because again, unlike our politicians, the North Macedonian prime minister and cabinet members / MPs will only be receiving one salary instead of two for the duration of their term as cabinet members. Now, moving to Somalia, here's another one I wish was about Guyana. On Monday, 4 senior health ministry officials in Somalia were sentenced for up to 18 years in prison over corruption and theft of public money. But they were arrested in April for stealing donations that were to go towards fighting the pandemic. Abdullah Hashi Ali, Director General of the Health Ministry, was fined and sentenced to 9 years in prison. Mohammed Boulay Mahmoud, Director Administration and Finance Department, was given 18 years. And the head of accounting, Mahadi Absir, was given 12 years. And finally, the head of the Malaria and HIV/AIDS system for the hospital, Bashir Abdi, was given 3 years in prison. Take advantage of this fresh business opportunity. Become a digital top-up vendor with Cellular Plus and earn some extra cash. No fancy smartphone or internet required. Just shop with your Mango Pelter and you're good to go. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 and find out about their special offer. And now for our weird news story of the day. The University of Fine Arts in Hamburg, Germany is offering idleness grants to Germans willing to abstain from activity as part of research for an exhibition on sustainability. 3 people will receive the grant for doing nothing and be paid $1,900 to engage in a specific form of active inactivity. The school said applicants are free to choose from their own form of idleness, an activity to abstain from, and a panel of school officials will choose the 3 best pitches. All submitted applications will form part of an exhibition planned for November. The idea is to explore the relationship between how society encourages sustainability and how society places value on material success. But before you start looking for the application, do know that the opportunity is only available to German citizens. But anyway, why should you be rushing to get a check to be idle when half of you has a job that already pays you for doing nothing? Haha, I'm just kidding, guys. Anyway, moving on to our Uncut News Viewers Poll question of the day. Every day, we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So you give your responses in the comments, and we'll read the best ones in the following episode. Friday's question was, do you think that Chris Jones is guilty? Of course, all of you said he was, but you all brought up some good points, which I shall read today. KS says, if it involves a politician or political appointee, then they are definitely guilty, and we probably only hear 10% of the true scope of skullduggery. I agree. 4D Ford says, with regards to the Christopher Jones incident, I feel that the police should have went in with a search warrant instead of barging in his home like the Wild Wild West, even if the items were procured with government money, because if it can happen to someone like him who can afford a lawyer, imagine what can happen to regular folk who get on the wrong side of the government. That can't afford such a legal representative. Also, the police really needs to work on their behavior of some of their ranks. They behaved very unprofessional and were very disrespectful to Jones. And finally, Winslow Joseph says, going after Christopher Jones is petty politics, because one of the cousins got stuff from the government to start up a beauty shop. Why aren't they charging all those other people that the government helped to start their own business? Good answers, people. So tonight I leave you with this question. Do you think that it was wrong for Schumann and Ramkaran to take up the advisor positions, or is this an actual show of inclusive governance? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good, we just might feature it in Tuesday's episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out tomorrow for another. Hey Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.